it's Alexa from Pearl Physical Therapy again. Today I'm going to show you a longer workout to get you ready for gardening season, to prevent injuries and to strengthen your muscles so that you can do all the gardening you want without having any increased aches or pains. So let's get started with a warm-up. What we'll do to start off is just doing some simple walking back and forth. After, you can also go for about a quarter mile to a half-mile walk or longer to get you warmed up as well. And then from there we'll go into some marching, bringing that arm overhead. This gets all of the trunk warmed up as well as the legs. Doing about 10 on each leg. Next up, we're going to do some straight leg raise kicks. So what that looks like is you're going to come opposite arm, opposite leg. I'll show you from the side, opposite arm, opposite leg. As you do this, keep your abdominal muscles engaged and make sure that you're only going as high as your body feels you can do with the legs. So if I can only come to here, that's okay. If I don't feel like I'm getting much of a warm-up by staying lower, then we can come a little higher with it. Again, about 10 on each leg, keeping the core muscles engaged. Next, we're going to do some side stepping. So bringing the leg out and together, out and together. As you do this, keep your abdominal muscles engaged. Think about if you're going to be trimming any of your shrubs, any of your trees, you might just be doing some side stepping as you move side to side, trimming along those bushes, okay? Next, we're going to go into some backwards walking. So just simply walking backwards. Use your eyes to make sure that you know where you're going so that you're not tripping over anything. This gets the glute muscles warmed up as we're walking backwards. Next one we'll do is hip in and out. So with that, hip coming in here, hip coming out and around. You can do this as walking, so that would look like coming in, all the way forward, and then we can go hip out, coming here as we step out, or you can stay stationary if balance is a problem, holding on to something and then coming in and out. Again, we're looking for about 10 on each leg. If you can't go as high with that hip, that's okay, keep it lower. We're just looking to get some rotation in the hip to get everything warmed up, okay? So we'll go through about 4 more each side, or on the right side, and then we're going to switch over to some warm up for the calf muscles. Okay. So next we're going to do heel walking and toe walking. So if you think about almost like you're walking on your tippy toes, coming forward, and then walking on your heels, coming backwards. So my toes are up in the air, and that just gets a little bit of a stretch through the backside of the calves, just getting a dynamic warm up through those muscles, because as we're going to be doing different things with gardening, whether that be bending down or having to reach up high for something, those things need to get warmed up right at the ankle level as well. Okay, so now that we've gotten a little bit of a warm up in, we're going to add in some of our exercises. So we're going to start with a squat. With that, feet are about shoulder width apart. You want to make sure the toes aren't coming in, keep them pointed straight forward, and we're just going to come down and push back up. So as we push up, we want to make sure, first off, that when we push up, we're pushing through our heels, straightening the knees and the hips all in one. We don't want to be coming up at the hips first and then at the back, okay? So one other helpful tip when we're coming down is to keep the knees behind the toes. What that means is if my toes are here, if I come forward, I'm putting a lot of pressure through the knee, which can cause irritation. So we want to stay down and drive up through the heels. We'll go through about 10 there, really making sure to push up. If you can only get down to about this far, that's okay. If you can get down to that 90 degrees, then you can go there too. Make sure that you're listening to your body as you go through this, okay? Next up, we're going to do a forward lunge, and we're going to add some rotation to this. Again, if balance is a problem, use discretion, hold on to something if needed, okay? So we'll come into a forward step. My ground's a little uneven, sorry. As you come down, you want to keep the hips, knees, and ankles all in one line. We don't want the knees coming in or out. You want to make sure everything stays in line as we come down. Next, arms are going to be behind your head, and to get a good rotation stretch through the upper body, we're going to rotate towards the leg that's forward, rotate back, and push back up, okay? So now again, come forward, hands behind the head, we rotate and push back up. We'll go through about 5 each leg. Again, listening to your body. If you can only get down to a mini lunge, that's okay. If you can only do the lunge and the rotation's too challenging, that's okay too. Hands can stay on the hips, or you can hold on to something for balance. Just like with the squats, when you go into that lunge, you want to make sure your knees stay behind your toes, and we're looking for about a 90-degree angle in the front and the back leg, okay? Next up is we're going to add another arm movement with another lunging movement. So this time we're going to step backwards with that lunge. With the arms, we're going to make a W, so, or you can call it like a goalpost. So we'll come up and back. When we go down into that lunge, we're squeezing the shoulder blades together to engage the muscles in the back side of the shoulders, because we know that we have to use our arms when we're gardening in order to get those weeds, in order to move the mulch around, in order to trim your trees, whatever it is that you like to do, okay? If, again, just like the forward lunge, if this is too challenging to do the arms and the legs all at once, you can do them separately. You can do the W, where I'm squeezing between my shoulder blades, and you can do that in sitting if needed, or you can do it in walking and still keeping your body moving, okay? With the backward lunge, if you don't want to have the arms can be just on the hips, or you can hold on to something for balance, okay? Next up, we're going to do a side lunge. So think about all those times that you need to just get something that's a little bit over here, but you're standing in the center, or you're working across your workspace. So we'll step out to the side, squeezing in through the hip, making sure hip, knee, and ankle are all in one line. And we want to make sure the knee doesn't come out as we're doing this, squeezing through the muscles on the side as we push up, driving through that leg. Again, from the side, hip, knee, ankle all in one line, and we want to make sure that knee stays behind your toe, okay? So we'll go through about 5 on each leg, keeping your abdominal muscles engaged as you're coming through each of these. Again, if you can only get to about here, that's okay. If you can bend the knee further to get into a deeper squat or a deeper lunge, then that's even better, okay? So after this, we're going to switch over to a sidestepping motion, so similar to what we did in the warm-up, but this time we're going to be in a squat position. So how many times are you weeding and you're in one spot, but then you have a weed right there, and you don't really feel like coming all the way back up just to take a step to come back over? What you can do is staying down in that squat. We're going to weed here. You can take a little side step in that lunge. So we're going to go through these about 5 to 10 on each side. You want to make sure, again, whoops, I'm on a hill, hips, knees, and ankles are in line, and that the knees are not coming past the toes. So we'll go for about 5 each way, going into that stepping. We never bring the feet all the way together. We're just doing a little step 2. Again, abdominal muscles are engaged. And then we'll go back the opposite way. Very good. Now we're going to switch over to an exercise on all fours. This is called a bird dog. I've got my kneeling pad for gardening here, so I'll use that for my knees. I'll go into all fours here, and what we're going to do is lift opposite arm, opposite leg. So as I'm doing this, the main thing is I'm keeping my abdominal muscles engaged. I'll show you from the side first. So if I'm here, my knees are right under my hips, my wrists are right under my shoulders. As I go to reach, I go opposite arm, opposite leg, and then I come back down. I'm squeezing the abdominal muscles the whole time to make sure that I'm staying stable. And we want to make sure that when we're reaching, we're not rotating, meaning I'll put my head down so you can see I'm not rotating my hips or my body here. I'm keeping everything flat, just like I had a glass of water on my back, okay? So with this, you don't want to have the head up. We want to keep the neck in neutral alignment with the rest of the spine. And we'll go through about 5 on each side, making sure you're squeezing in through the abdominals as well as the glute or the buttocks of whichever leg you're lifting up. Do 1 more each side. Very good. All right, so next, and another one that we can use the pad for is, again, to get some rotation into the upper back here, because in between the shoulder blades can get a little sore with all this yard work. So we want to get a little stretch in here. So we'll go into all 4s. Again, similar position as the bird dog. This time I'm going to bring one arm by my ear, and I'm just going to rotate and come back. Rotate and come back. So this shouldn't be coming from my low back, it should be coming from my upper back. We'll go through about 5 on each side, watching that you're not cranking the neck, keeping that in alignment with the rest of your body, and more just trying to get that stretch through the upper back. And then we'll switch sides, 5 on this side, coming up, back down, making sure to follow your breath. Continue breathing as you're doing this, and not letting your lower back sink in. Very good. All right, so our last exercise is going to involve a wheelbarrow, because oftentimes when we're going to move things from place to place, we need a wheelbarrow, or it's recommended to use our wheelbarrow rather than trying to carry a big heavy load across our yards. It takes a little less strain off the body. So we're gonna do some wheelbarrow squats. I'll show you what I mean. So we'll start with our wheelbarrow. If it's down on the ground, I want to make sure I get into that ready position. So again, my knees stay behind my toes. I'm going to drive up through my heels when I go to stand. So I'll grab my handles here. My core is engaged. And then I will push up through my heels as I come up. And lower, push up, and lower. And what you can do as this begins to get easier is you can put a small weight in your wheelbarrow to make it a little more challenging for you, and add some resistance, and then slowly each week put in just a little bit more to keep building up that strength throughout your body. Okay, we'll go through about 10 here. We've done about 5 or so far, so let's do about 3 more now. Driving through the heels. Very good. All right, so that's your gardening workout. You can repeat those exercises for multiple sets. We just did about 1 set of each of them today, but listen to your body as well. If you fatigue sooner, then you can do a little bit less. If you're not fatigued quite yet, then go through another set of the squats, the lunges, the wheelbarrow squats, the side lunges, the bird dog, and then the rotation movements. We look forward to seeing you again in the future. For more information, you can visit the Pearl PT website, and have a wonderful day.